Hashem Shalom Lechem, friends. One of the biggest challenge and tests for women in this generation, especially, but in previous generation as well, was modesty. And I think that the problem is why women fail this test because they do not know the price. Nobody actually taught them what is the price if she's not going to be modest. If she's going to be modest, the society tells her that she's going to be attractive. Right, and she'll be happy, right? But what is the downside? And I wanted to teach you today what is the downside. Rav Tzvi Hirsch-Kadanover, a great sage from previous generations, tell us in his holy book Kaveh Yashar, chapter 81. So if somebody has a bad child, right, a bad person, so people say, "Cursed be the breasts that nurses this one." So we have to notice that they did not curse the father, but only the mother. And this is because our sages have a great principle that every woman who is modest in her conduct and her thoughts, very important thoughts as well, we're going to delve in it, will merit the progenitor of the prophets, saints, the men of good deeds. So meaning if a woman is modest, it is guaranteed that she's going to have children. It does not matter what the father is. And we're going to explain. But it says in Talmud Megillah 10b. Example of this is Tamar, right? And we know Tamar was very modest in her father's house. She always covered her face. He did not know how she looks like. Right? And conversely, every woman who is not modest in her conduct or harbor evil or alien thoughts will have offspring that follow in her ways. As those sages say, one you follows another you. It's from Ksuba 63a. So meaning, but if she's not modest, she's going to have offspring like that. So when a woman suffers from her children, there is a reason. Many times there is a clear connection to how she behaves, how she behaved in the past when she conceived or before she conceived, and how this child came out. And the proof of this is going to be an amazing story that involves Ramban Nachmanides. So in his essay on one of his books, Ramban writes that if Jew exchanges his religion to one of the idolatrous faith, one may be certain that he is not really in a Jewish seed. So meaning if he converted to Christianity, all of the Jews were Yoshke, it means that there's something wrong. Most likely they're not Jews, even though they say they are. Rather, he's of the seed of the nations, so meaning non-Jews, or else intended idolatrous relationship. So what does it mean? It could mean several things. So meaning it was rape, it could be incest, idolatrous relationships, of course, or it also could be that the father, he had in mind somebody else. So physically, he was intimately, he was with his wife, but in his mind, it was somebody else. So all of these people that watch some dirty movies and they together with their wife, don't be surprised when they have problematic children. And that was, again, Ramban said, that if somebody, a Jew, converts to Christianity, to other religions, that's most likely he's not a Jew. Right? The problem, as we just mentioned. So in short time after he wrote these words, one of his sons apostatized. So meaning one of these sons, Ramban's son, converted. Can you imagine? So the ruler of the country, so he summoned the Ramban and said, look what you have recently published, and now your own offspring has been tripped up by your words. So meaning maybe you're not a Jew. So he's just asking the question, right? And all the way home, right, Ramban was filled with turmoil, right? And when he arrived, he sat on the floor and wept, scourging himself. So meaning, how is it possible that this happened in his family? And he was one of the holiest people in his generations, and I think in the Jewish history. He was more disturbed on account of the sermon that he had published than on account of his son abandoned his religion. Because people have a free choice and they do what they want. I mean, the son was grown up, but the thing is that he published that looks like he contradicting himself. Right, and he refused to eat and drink for several days until at last his wife came to console him and ensure that there is no need for him to be distraught. What happened? How is it possible? Right, the facts as the facts. So he converted, yes. Both Ramban and his wife Jewish. So how is it possible? And she then explained that one night when she was on her way back to from the mikveh, and woman had her period, so she was nida. She was not allowed to her husband, and after this period, she counted the clean days, and then she goes in the mikveh, ritual bath, and she becomes pure again. And this mikveh, right? Of course, in the mikveh, women usually go like after the nightfall. Today we have lights, but back then, no lights on the street. Right? And this mikveh was far away from their home, and certain nobleman, non-Jew, of course, noticed her beauty and ordered his servants to seize her and to bring to his house. The nobleman then sexually abused her, and it was from this that she conceived this boy. And she added, and if you do not believe me, see, I still have the finger that I beat from his hand with my teeth. So she was fighting. She was fighting very hard, and she preserved his finger, I guess, in alcohol. Then Rambam heard his wife's story. He arose from the ground with a great joy. So meaning if wife was violated, the husband has still right to live with her. He's not obligated to divorce her. The whole situation consoled him, meaning that what he said, his Torah is true. And until they learned commentary of Ramban, the most extensive commentary. And he said to her, you console me, he exclaimed. Right, and right away he set out and went to the ruler and related to him of what his wife had revealed. The ruler immediately summoned the nobleman, who soon arrived, and he was wearing a glove on his hand, and the ruler ordered him to remove it. The nobleman refused to do that. Right, so the ruler ordered his servants to remove this glove from him by force, and then they saw, right, as she said, the finger was missing. And the ruler asked him what happened. So now he was already angry with him, and nobleman got the point, right? So he confessed actually, right? So he understood that they knew there is something wrong. So he confessed and told the ruler that one time he abused a Jewish woman, right? And she actually bitten off a finger with her teeth. So Rambam spoke up. So you see that our Torah is true, as the works of our sages and our God. And see what happened to his wife was very devastating. But what was more devastating, that what this holy tzaddik Ramban said might not be true. And here he was rejoicing that whatever Torah that Hashem gave through Moshe Rabbeinu, all the oral Torah that came down to us, is absolutely true. And from this story we learn that everything depends upon mother, right? Sometimes an evil man has a modest wife, and they produce virtuous and upright children, because as we said, if a woman is modest, the children usually follow after her. And plus, the mother spends all of the time with children. She educates them, not father. So even father is not good, so he's not there, he's working. And sometimes a righteous man married a wicked woman, and they produce wicked offspring. It happened many times when a guy is good guy, but he into beauty and he into physicality, and he marries one of these wicked girls that looks pretty, but she's not righteous, she's not modest. And that's what attracted him, and the payment for this is going to be these wicked children. Therefore, a mother must be sure to guide her children along the path of virtue, and let her not have pity on them when the teacher or her husband strike them. Shlomo HaMelech said, if father did not break a rod on his child, it means he does not like him. So meaning the father must rebuke a child, must educate them, must set them straight. Right? Otherwise, if they always say yes, my son, and only buy the gifts, they're going to spoil, not going to be a good child. Right? And let every woman learn from Bathsheba, the wife of David HaMelech, right? And the mother of who? Shlomo HaMelech. So how do we know, right? There is a famous story when Bathsheba beat her son, Shlomo HaMelech, right? Personally, right? After once he overslept, until the third hour of the day, and it was actually the dedication of the temple. I had to open the temple, and he was sleeping on a key, and she had to rebuke him. All of the people were afraid to wake him up, but she did. So it's from Vayikra Rabbah 12:5. To this alludes the verse, the words of Lumiel, who was chastised by his mother. It's from Mishle 31 month. Fortunate is the husband and a wife who guide their children along the straight and virtuous path. Then they will merit upright offspring and will have a cause to rejoice in this world and the next. And I wish you and I that we always stick to teaching our sages. So if sages say that it's critical, absolutely critical, that a woman must be modest, so that's what it is. So, and if she's going to stick with this teaching, she's not going to lose, as we see it from this story and others. Learn with us and be holy.